All right, it is 7 p.m., so we're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. I'm going to ask you to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. But unlike any other meeting, I am not going to lead us tonight. We have a special guest that we're going to talk to a little bit later. Her name is Ellie Wagner from the Girl Scouts Association, so I'm going to ask her to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that, Ellie. And like I said, we'll be getting to know a little bit about her here in just a couple minutes. So I know we've got a lot on our agenda tonight, so we'll go ahead and get started with roll call.
Benson? Here. Brunick?
Here.
Hunoff?
Here.
Johnson?
Present.
Minor? Schramm?
Here.
Villanueva?
Present.
Weber? Here. Mayor Mosier?
Here.
City Manager Leon? Here. City Attorney Denherter?
Here.
Next under routine business is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 25th, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on the minutes? Anybody in the public? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Anybody abstaining? Minutes passed. Number 3 is the schedule of bills. What is the commission pleasure?
Move that we pay the bills. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on the bills? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Schramm?
Aye.
Villanueva?
Aye.
Weber?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Hunoff?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Mosier?
Aye, motion carries. Number 4 under routine business is the city manager's report, and with that, I will turn it over to City Manager Leon.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the commission. Before I get started, I will say, on my honor, I will try to serve country, my God, to help people at all times and live by the Girl Scout law. Former Girl Scout. Want to bring a few things to your attention. Tomorrow, exciting day, Election Day. Polls are open from 7 to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Your polling places are City Hall and the North Fire Station 2. So if you have not absentee voted, please come in and vote for City Commission. Following polls closing, votes will be tallied at Yankton County, and the media will be informed of the results. So good luck to all our candidates in the City Commission election. Wanted to let the public know, I think you all know, but to inform the public that we have hired a deputy fire chief, and the name will be familiar to you as he is already part of our volunteer fire department. Daniel Prendable was hired to work with our fire department in a paid position, so he'll be starting the end of April. We're excited to welcome him even more now as full-time staff, so looking forward to that. Citywide cleanup, curbside is complete. The guys got the curbside pickup done before the gale force winds came through town. The transfer station is still open for people to drop off things at no charge through this Saturday, so I don't have tonnage for you yet. We'll have that probably at your next meeting with what materials were brought in.
Amy, to interrupt you there, what are the hours on Saturday? Because I know those are limited hours.
I'm going to say 8 to 11:45 on Saturday. Soon, there will be a closing of a railroad crossing, the railroad crossing on Broadway. We have not been informed exactly when that will start. That public service announcement will come from the state. So as soon as we have that, we'll use our media partners to get the word out with people. We're waiting for better weather, of course, before that gets started. There will be quite a bit of disruption on Broadway. There'll be a detour, so everyone should be aware of that once it gets started. On your schedule here for your consent, there is a work session scheduled. I have spoken with Eric Van Dusen of Yankton County EMS, asked if we can have an update on the study that's being performed associated with EMS in our county. So he's going to work with me on putting together some information for that. We have a follow-up meeting here coming up with the consultant that was hired. So we'll get some information there. Not sure that will take an entire half hour, so Todd and Lisa are going to be working on a profit and loss for the Summit Activity Center to follow up a little information to see, now that we've made some of the changes that we brought forward through the task force, where do we stand financially and what's our outlook there. So looking at those items, commissioners, for the work session on April 22nd. For those of you who volunteered to serve on the Mayor's Board of Reconciliation, you'll get an email from Lisa closer to the time, reminding you of the time, date, and place that you need to be there. This Friday, election results will be canvassed. That'll happen here. We'll treat it like a regular meeting, although it is not a regular meeting. That will be the only item on the agenda, but there'll be a short agenda that will be published regarding the canvass at 12 o'clock noon. So we need to have a quorum there for that to take place. Mayor, that's all of the announcements I have for my report, unless you have questions.
I just want to check attendance on Friday. Obviously, Commissioner Villanueva and Commissioner Benson cannot be part of that meeting, whether they win or not tomorrow at the polls. So just want to make sure and check, can the rest of you be there so we can ensure we have a quorum before we even publish the meeting? Yes? Okay, thank you for that. With that, then I would ask, are there any other questions of the city manager at this time? All right, seeing no microphones come on, then we will move on to number 5 under routine business. And you'll see tonight a lot of exciting things going on as we have 3 proclamations. So I'll apologize ahead of time because you're all going to have to listen to me read all 3 of these, but we'll get through them and we'll ask folks to come up and just talk a little bit more about why the proclamation and anything that they have going on is tied to these proclamations. The first one you can see in your packet is National Library Week. So whereas libraries offer the opportunity for everyone to connect with others, learn new skills, and pursue their passions no matter where they are on life's journey, whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions striving to ensure equitable access to information and services for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, developing and expanding collections, programs, and services that are as diverse as the populations they serve. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. Whereas libraries are treasured institutions that preserve our collective heritage and knowledge, safeguarding both physical and digital resources for present and future generations. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Stephanie Mosier, Mayor of Yankton, proclaim National Library Week, April 7th through the 13th, 2024. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit our library and celebrate the adventures and opportunities they unlock for us every day. Ready, set, library. With that, I'll bring Dana Schmidt forward here, who's director of our library, and maybe have her share a little bit about Library Week. But let's give her a round of applause to folks. Here from the library, I know she can kind of tell a little bit about, if folks caught that we did the picture ahead of time. A big group of folks came over to the banner to take a picture with us. So maybe Dana, you can tell us a little bit about folks and the makeup of folks here with you tonight as well. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. I'm excited for National Library Week. I'm excited for all the things our library is doing and all the things that they can and will be doing in the future. I think that libraries are a very surprising place, and so I hope if you haven't been to the library lately, I hope that you come in soon. We've had eclipse glasses has been our most recent excitement. We've had people even calling during the eclipse today, even though it was cloudy, asking for the glasses. But we're doing everything from funeral planning to movie showings to play days with the kids. So just a lot of different stuff going on. To the commissioners, I gave you some stats from our 2023, the things that we had going on. But there's so much happening at the library, and we have such great supporters. One of them is the staff that we have working there. We really have great customer service, people that are friendly and willing to go the extra mile, and just getting compliments all the time for the things that they do and how welcome they make people feel. I have a lot of supporters here with me tonight. We have the Board of Trustees who help guide the policies. We have the Friends of the Library who help raise money, and they do a lot of stuff for us, including providing summer reading programs for us. So we have magicians and snakes and all kinds of stuff happening this summer that the Friends help bring in for us. And then we have the Library Foundation, who is helping to fund a library feasibility study right now. And we have a survey going on, so if you haven't heard about it yet, you should be getting postcards, you should be hearing about it on social media. And I did hand out also survey link and a QR code, and I put some in the back by the door as well. So we want to hear from as many people in the community as possible to just hear your feedback about the library. Whether you use the library or not, we want to know what you're interested in, what you might be looking for in the library, and we just want to hear from you. So we're excited to hear about that. April 13th and April 20th, we'll be holding some focus groups at the library, and we can't wait to see where we go next. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Dana. Anybody have questions of Dana or anything you want to? All right, well, I was just in there today, even before the eclipse, and didn't know you had the glasses, so I'm a little bummed about that, but did get my next good reading book, so I was pretty excited about that. And I agree, staff's very friendly and do a great job there. And it was very busy when I was in there today, so it's awesome to see.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and enjoy National Library Week. All right, with that, we will move on to our next one, which is the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life and the preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, and other responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Yankton Dispatch Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, and other responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators at the Yankton Dispatch Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it resolved that Yankton City Commission declares the week of April 14th through the 20th, 2024, to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the city of Yankton in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. So let's give them a round of applause. And Julia, I'm going to have you come up to the mic, if you would. Okay. Did she bring a speech even? No. Oh, I saw her with a piece of paper. I was all excited. I was going to you're paying attention. All right, but you can introduce the other folks that are here with you tonight too, and we did already take our picture for that, so.
Oh, do you want me to restart? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Courtney Russenberger, dispatching for 7 years. Julia Hussein, who's our dispatching supervisor, and Nicole Knox. We're currently on duty right now, but we're here. We don't have any news. We're fully staffed, which is great. But just thank you for supporting us, like having a week for us. We appreciate it. Do you have any other news, Julia?
Oh, they're giving you a thumbs up.
They've
Good
only
job.
told me.
I do want to say, I know you all are a lot of unsung heroes because, you know, you're not out in public like our police officers and our firefighters and our EMTs, and that's who a lot of folks see. But I think sometimes you forget the very calming, very patient, very professional voices that answer that phone. You all are taking calls from people in their most dire need. I don't think anybody ever calls 911 to just say thank you. So again, thank you to all of you tonight for doing your job. Being married to a firefighter, it means a lot to know that you're not only keeping our citizens safe, but what you do in your job keeps all of our emergency personnel safe as well.
Thank
So
you.
thank
We
you for what you
appreciate
do.
Thank you. We're gonna head out because we're on duty.
And I do believe Commissioner Villanueva wants to say something, but I don't want to keep you, but
No,
I
it's-
also know
we
you
have a
can
radio.
answer
We're fine.
remotely.
We're
Yeah,
good.
but I think Commissioner Villanueva.
I'll make it short. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do. As Mayor Mosier said, when people are having potentially the worst day of their lives, you're the very first people that they talk to, and I just so much appreciate what you do. You get the necessary resources there to mitigate the situation, and can't say thank you enough. Thank you all.
Thank you for your
Please
support.
extend that to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, we have one more, and the two before her were pretty cool. We love our library and obviously love our dispatch center and what both of those entities do for our community. But I do have to say, we're actually recognizing a Girl Scout tonight, and I had to think back. I know this is the first time I'm doing it as a mayor, but I also don't remember being in a city commissioner seat and being able to recognize a Girl Scout. We've done quite a few Boy Scouts with their Eagle Scout projects and what they do. So, Ms. Ellie, I'm extremely excited to have you here tonight. Just like City Manager Leone, I'm a past Girl Scout and still like to keep my affinity by eating cookies with the Girl Scout Association. So I'm still tied to it, so there we go. I was going to try to find my sash, actually, and wear it tonight, and I just ran out of time to do that. So we do have, as I introduced earlier, Ellie Wagner here tonight. We were thrilled when the Girl Scout Association sent me a letter recognizing what you've done in the Girl Scout organization, and to have you here tonight. So just like we do with everybody else, we do have a proclamation, and don't worry, I didn't put Ellie on the spot. She knows that we're going to ask her to say a few words after we read the proclamation. So whereas Ellie Wagner attended Yankton School District from kindergarten through her high school graduation in December 2022, and whereas Ellie is the daughter of Travis and Robin Wagner and a sister to Kaylin and Jackson, and was a Girl Scout for 13 years, and whereas the Girl Scouts Dakota Horizon has declared that Ellie Wagner has completed all the requirements to earn the Girl Scout Gold Award, and whereas this award provides an opportunity for young women to develop and enhance their leadership skills through planning and executing a sustainable project, they learn to lead effectively and make a positive impact in their communities. And whereas the Gold Award is the highest achievement in the Girl Scouting and the most difficult to earn, where recipients are recognized for their dedication, hard work, and their commitment to making a difference. And whereas recipients of the Gold Award are required to work 80 to 100 hours on a project that will benefit their community. Ellie's project were a little art library, which is located outside the Yankton Arts Association, Gar Hall, and a little seed library, which is located at the Yankton County 4-H building. Now, therefore, I, Stephanie Mosier, Mayor of Yankton, on behalf of the Yankton City Commission, do hereby offer my sincere congratulations to Ellie Wagner for her hard work and dedication to our community and in earning her Girl Scout Gold Award. Let's give her a big round of applause. So I know we did talk a little bit about a couple of the projects that you worked on, but I'm going to have you tell us a little bit more about it, and I know you have a few prepared statements. So go ahead, take it away, Ellie.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I've been in Girl Scouts since 2010, and now that I'm officially graduated outside of Girl Scouts, I am a registered Girl Scout volunteer, so I'm continuing still to help within the Girl Scouts. But the Girl Scout Gold Award is the most prestigious award that Girl Scout seniors and ambassadors can earn. So you have to be in high school in order to earn this one. So you have to fulfill the requirements by completing either 2 senior or ambassador journeys, or having earned the Silver Award, which you would complete in middle school, and completing 1 senior or ambassador journey. I chose my project area based off of having an interest in visual arts and family activities. I chose 2 different areas that would involve different aspects of family projects. The art library is friendly and an individual to families. It can be utilized for children to adults. Oftentimes, art can be a form of creativity, but can also help with mental health as a way to express your feelings. I have always found gardening interesting, but never participated. As I spoke with others, I found oftentimes people had extra items they no longer needed, but wanted to reduce, reuse, or recycle to avoid waste. Having a safe area to donate or swap items for gardening for people of all levels of experience was a way to achieve my goal. Thank you very much for this. I am truly honored.
Awesome, thank you. Wait to see if I have microphones on. So I love your projects. How does this work now that you've started those? Do you work with the entities of where they're stored to kind of keep them stocked, or is that something you still kind of check back on, or how does that work to sustain this moving forward?
So with the Gold Award, one of the requirements is making sure that the Gold Award is sustainable so it can continue on going in your community without you having to do anything with it. So with the idea of the art libraries, I always compare it to like the reading libraries you'll see at like campgrounds where you take a book and leave a book. So like with my art library, what you would do is you could either leave a piece of artwork or take somebody else's artwork at the same time, or take other supplies and then leave supplies. And then similar with the seed library, you could take anything from, I have different pots in there, seeds in special containers so they don't get wet, different information on how to grow different plants. So it's always able to continue on going, but I know if they ever needed to be refilled, I would still be close by, or I know people within the community that I can always help refill them.
Awesome, and it says you graduated in December 2022. So what are you doing now after graduation?
Yes, so I graduated a semester early at Yankton High School. I am now at Southeast Tech in Sioux Falls getting my vet tech, but currently I am about to take a year off because I got accepted into the Disney College program down in Florida.
Awesome. Does that mean you get to be like a Disney princess or something? Or
Kinda.
acting out? Yeah. Awesome. Oh, how exciting. That's fun. I love it. Well, thank you. I don't know if anybody else has anything here, but thank you so much for your dedication to Girl Scouts, your dedication to our community and what you've done for our community as tied to the arts and with your seed library. I absolutely love it. And I thank you for thinking of those as you thought about what to do for your Girl Scout project. Let's give her another round of applause. That's a lot of dedication. All right. With that then, we do have one scheduled public appearance tonight. So I'll ask him to make his way to the podium, which he is doing. Come on up. Scott Kostel is the Executive Director of the Missouri Sedimentation Action Coalition, or many times we've heard MSAC, but also, I believe, is the Mayor of Springfield. So did I hear that correctly? Yes, that is correct. I don't think we are.
Yes, that is correct.
So,
I am the mayor of Springfield.
Mayor Costello, welcome to the Yankton City Chambers. We're happy to have you here to give us an update on your coalition.
Okay, thank you very much. And as the screens come down, you can see the small presentation I have. Again, thank you for entertaining me tonight, or maybe my entertaining you. As you said, I'm the executive director of the Missouri Sedimentation Action Coalition. MSAC is a 501c3 organization whose goal is to educate and promote action to address sedimentation on our reservoirs, for future generations to take a shift in thinking as well. MSAC wants to join stakeholders and river managers in building a broad, holistic plan that looks upstream and downstream, taking into account a truer picture of our actual costs and benefits. We count as memberships and stakeholders a broad cross-section to include federal, tribal, state, and local government entities, commercial groups, and nonprofit river-focused organizations, as well as several individuals. I started this position in November of 2022, and I joined Sandy Stockholm, which for some of you that have been with the group for a number of years, she is still with us at going on 23 years, I think, is the original. So my coming on as executive allowed the organization to go back to 2 paid employees, so she works a lot on the communications and press releases and a lot of those sort of things. And I take on some of the other coordination duties, such as this tonight. So, as you can see on the slide, pretty busy. So I'll just kind of touch a couple points. Our current focus is on Lewis and Clark Lake and the upper reaches of the Missouri River, which includes the Missouri National Recreational River's 39-mile section, as well as portions of the Santee Sioux Indian Reservation. Going back to 1955, when the river was closed, Lewis and Clark Lake stretched about 25 miles upstream, which included Springfield at the time. It no longer includes Springfield. It's down to about 17 miles at this point in time. Along that stretch, the Missouri River supports irrigation, drinking water, and a robust and growing recreational economy and industry. We have a very diverse fauna and flora environment, but we do have a lot of recent infestations of invasive species, particularly zebra mussels and Phragmites. And while this isn't the focus of MSAC, however, anything that happens in the river that's detrimental can have an impact on sedimentation. And for those that have been out there, Phragmites certainly falls into that category. To this day, there has been no cohesive plan put forth by any entity to support the future life of Gavins Point Dam and the area that stretches upstream to Fort Randall Dam. MSAC took on the challenge to sponsor work to change this. In 2018, MSAC, working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Omaha office, submitted and was accepted into what's called a Section 22 study. This is a planning assistance to state study that a 501c3 can enter into with the federal government. The output for this plan is a sediment management plan. As the most threatened stretch of the river, Gavins Point Dam's future usefulness is in danger today due to unchecked sedimentation problems created by the closure of the natural flowing river. Section 22 study just completed its phase 2 in the end of December, and from that there were 4 items that came out for possible consideration going into phase 3. Phase 3's output is the sedimentation action plan. Now that doesn't bring any specific funding with it, but what it does do is have a formal approved way forward, recognizing some of the challenges and the issues that are there. Phase 2 included Phase 2 items included dredging, which addresses the problem but not the cause, a sluicing with augmentation, which would require significant modification to Gavins Point Dam, watershed sediment management improvement, and a Niobrara River sediment collection device. The Bureau of Reclamation, concurrently to this, also held what they call the Guardians of the Reservoir program, where they came up with 3 additional items, all new technologies to include sedimentation compression pump and autonomous or semi-autonomous dredging type systems. MSAC's recommendations, which were taken by the Corps of Engineers coming out of phase 2, include the desediment autonomous dredging system, which is coming out of Germany. It's a well-known technology in Europe, however, first in the U.S., and then a sediment collector on the Niobrara River, as well as watershed management. For the remainder of FY24, we are focusing on the bedload collector project. The Corps of Engineers submitted internally to put this project into the Niobrara River and was approved for this fiscal year for $161,000. So we will be moving towards that project this year, and we will pick back up with our Phase 3 sediment management plan coming the next fiscal year, so 1st of October. The priority right now is the bed load collector, because that is fiscal year 24 money, so it must be done this summer. As you can see on the screen, there's a couple of items going up. A sediment collector, which I have a couple slides down, is a very simple device that basically just tries to drop sediment out of the river. If we can go back to the slideshow real quick, and I'll demonstrate a couple of things why this is important and where we're focusing these items on. What you see on the screen is the confluence of the Niobrara River and the Missouri River just outside of Niobrara, Nebraska, which would be about 9 miles upstream from Springfield, or about 40 miles upstream from Yankton. The picture you see now is from 1985. The Niobrara was coming in, the Missouri was flowing pretty naturally through there. It was easy to navigate, good fishing, but you can see some of the sandbars that are there. If we go to the next slide, and we come to 2022, there is a tremendous change over the course of those 20 some odd years that essentially has been choked off. The Niobrara River has been bringing in a significant amount of sediment, and we're starting to see it come downstream as well. At this point on the Missouri River, between Yankton, Gavin's Point Dam and Fort Randall Dam, about 80% of all the sediment passes that one point. 55%, primarily sand, comes out of the Niobrara, and the remaining 25% is coming from upstream from Fort Randall, and that's from the U.S. Geological Survey's most up-to-date estimates. The rest of the tributaries that flow in are down to 1% and 2%. That particular area now is just about unnavigable. You can get through with a smaller boat. A lot of kayakers go through, but anything larger, and you just can't get through. So this is the target area to pick up sediment before it reaches where the current leading delta is coming in towards Gavin's Point. There is a second delta because of all that sand that's building up there. It is starting to build water up behind it, which is also causing an issue all the way up to Verdell, which is about 4 or 5 miles. Because as that is choked off, the same amount of water is still flowing down the river, but once it hits something, it starts to back up the other way as well. So that's been kind of an unseen delta that's come down there as well, although that is picking up some significant visualization now as well. So the bed loader project that was approved by the Corps of Engineers was submitted earlier this year. MSAC did submit for one through an EPA grant last year. We worked with the Corps, kind of a short turnaround thing. We didn't get ours, but the the Corps of Engineers team in Omaha did not drop it. They recognized that there was a need, and this was a good project. There's a thing called a reservoir sediment management program inside the Corps of Engineers. So they went after it, they took that study, they turned around and submitted their own for this fiscal year, and they were approved. So now we're able to move forward with it during the remainder of the summer. The project is fully funded by the Corps of Engineers, which for a lot of folks that have dealt with this for a number of years would say that's kind of an amazing feat, if not completely unheard of, that they would pick up and do this, essentially fund it. It's not a terrible lot of money in the big scheme of things, but when we're looking at our projects, $161,000 to spend very quickly on a project is a pretty good win to go forward. This is the first thing that's going to go in the water in the 20 some odd years that MSAC has been doing this, and even before. So that's the second win. The third win is the fact that this was one of the items that we had coming out of phase 2, which still would have gone into the phase 3 study and would have come out about 2 years from now, and then go to look at funding. Well, the fact that we're able to do this now parallel while we still work with that, and this was one of the identified items, that's a third win. So now we're really picking up some of that momentum going forward. So the Corps of Engineers was here a couple weeks ago, did a reconnaissance and looked at some areas on the river. I know the graphic that was up there before was 3 proposed ones. It looks like the area is getting narrowed down to a piece of land that's owned by the Nebraska Game Fish and Parks, or Game and Parks, just off the new Highway 12 bridge. On that graphic, it's labeled item C is going to be the preferred location. So the sediment collector is also owned by the Corps of Engineers out of their research laboratories, and it's actually currently sitting in St. Paul, Minnesota. It comes down on about a semi-trailer worth of stuff that'll come in. This one's a 12-foot version, so not terribly large. They have a 30-foot version that gets closer to what you could actually do for a long range. And one of the things to notice about the bed load is that this isn't just a scientific measuring device. There are these items throughout the United States that are permanently in the water that pull out usable sediment. In this case would be sand. It's non-mechanical. It just involves a pump and a generator to move the water out and pull the sediment out. In this case, the Corps is going to use a type of a bag that they will put the sediment in versus putting it onto a pile or into a dump truck. It allows some additional capture. A couple of things that are really unique here is that the Corps of Engineers, again, kind of brought up that throughout their studies, they haven't found another river, or at least another river that they've studied, that's like the Niobrara River. The Niobrara River is aquifer-fed, spring-fed river. It's very high in sand. It doesn't have a whole lot of changes within its natural flow during the year because of the spring-fed system. And they just didn't have any usable data to tell how much sediment would be coming down the river. So along with this going in to see how much sediment they can pull out, they'll also be gathering empirical data for the first time, not just on this river, but on rivers of this type. Now, the majority of this stuff that's going to come out is sand for this particular river. The key, the entire crux really going forward to address the sediment problem isn't necessarily getting it out. What this does is it gets it out before it hits the Missouri River, a percentage of it. We'll never do 100%, would never want to do 100%. But the key is, what do we do with the sediment when it comes out? We're talking here 1 to 2 tons of sediment a day, probably more. One of the very interesting things about this that nobody knows is when they put this in the river, in the Niobrara River, which is not very deep, it'll go in about 3 to 4 foot of water. As long as the pumps are running, probably okay. But if they shut it down at night, obviously the crews need to go get their time off. What will happen when they come back in the morning? There's a very distinct potential that it will be buried because it'll drop out sand, and if it doesn't keep moving, which is entirely great scientific method understanding how this goes, that there's that much going down at that time of year. So. But with that kind of stuff, we have to figure out what to do, and that's where MSAC's next focus is going to be, and had started to look that way a couple years ago. As if we don't find a beneficial use, we can pull all the sediment we want out through whatever method. You just can't pile it up. Along all the coasts, the United States, sediment is used for any number of purposes throughout those areas, from watershed and water reclamation, to industry, to just providing an additional area for land reclamation. This particular project, again, we're in the center of the U.S., is the first time this is going to be done on a reservoir. Kind of a remote area, so what do you do with it? It's going to be pretty close to pure sand, so we'll see what comes out of it and where it can go. Like I said, that'll be our next push, working with economic development folks, the communities in the area, to find a use for it. Essentially, this is going to be some pretty good sand that will probably come out very clean and will be very cheap, a very cheap resource to move off of there. But obviously, without doing that, it doesn't do any good to just dredge or remove this material and make a really big pile, because we already have that. So we already have that issue. with that, again, you can see the pictures there. So I will thank you for the time that you provided for me tonight. The Yankton City Commission and really the entire city and community of Yankton has been a big supporter of MSAC for the past 20 some odd years. It has been very good working with Nathan, who has been the city commission representative to the MSAC board. Got to know him a little bit and in the last year and a half, and very good representative for the city and for the community here. So we're looking forward that I know he is moving on in a month or two to hopefully have another one of the individuals that is here to be able to come on, or whoever's here, I guess, in a month, and join us and continue on with that relationship. Yankton did pledge $25,000 towards this study a few years ago, of which we're about $9,500 has been used so far in phase 2. So as we enter the final phase, we know that's very key. So that support is very welcome and very thankful for that. One of the distinct items I just talked about, the beneficial use of sediment, is very important to that piece. So again, having this bed load collector that the Corps of Engineers is paying for themselves helps with every dime that went towards this project that no longer has to go to something like that. So this funding continues on the phase 3 portion to the sediment management plan. And clearly, as you mentioned, I'm the mayor of Springfield too, so I have a little economic interest here, and we're seeing a lot of development going on across the river as well in Nebraska. So this is a very focused area right now to develop. It's been about 70 years, a little more than 70 years since the lake closed, which means there are folks, I don't believe anybody in this room, but certainly within our communities that were here when it closed. There's a very real possibility that without action, there are kids in school right now that might see the end, the usefulness of Gavins Point Dam and the end of the lake if no action is taken. We do feel that we're at a very good point right now with the momentum that's being gained with both the Corps of Engineers and local communities, that in the next coming years, we will find ways to go forward, and having this first one in the water is important. It's taken a long time to get here. It takes a lot of patience to deal with this and to deal with all the folks that are involved. So it's very appreciative to be here and to continue to talk with folks that see the importance of it and understand it, and will continue to support us into the future. So that does conclude my portion. I'm available for questions if anybody would like. I know our annual meeting is scheduled for May 2nd, so I think Nathan will probably be there. That will be in Niobrara. And the Corps of Engineers will be there as well, and we'll get to go see the river. So,
Well, Scott, kudos to you and to MSAC for all the work. I know of all the years I've been sitting on the city commission, I know former Commissioner Charlie Gross, I know, has sat on that before, and Nathan, as you mentioned now, and it's great to hear work is being done, because I feel like there was a lot of frustration there for a while of, we knew we needed to do something, but to get somebody to move and work with us to do that seemed to be a pretty uphill battle for sure. So kudos that you got the Corps of Engineers to get in there and start helping with this and figuring out that there is really truly an issue here, and it needs to be addressed, for sure.
And I take that thanks, and I thank it to the board, because we have Butch Becker here as a board member as well, and Nathan. The patience that it took them to get here and then to go through the study, I'm pretty recent to this, so I will pass that thanks on to them, who have been so patient for so many years and kept the fight up.
Patience is a good word to use for that. I'm sure there was some other words maybe along the way that people might have wanted to use about the process, as Charlie's shaking his head. I want to give a second to Commissioner Johnson. Anything else to kind of share, or, because yes, as Scott mentioned, there will be an opening to sit on MSAC as we look to reseat the commission here in May. So, for anybody that might be interested, would be worth sharing that with the mayor. But Nathan, maybe a little bit about your role and kind of what you've learned as you've done this.
Yeah, back when I was mayor, we worked with MSAC and decided that we should have a permanent seat on the board, because at that time Charlie was stepping off, and so I stepped into his seat. And I think that's important for the city commission to be a part of these discussions because it plays such a crucial role in our future, whether you're talking about economic development, agriculture, tourism, all those things. And it's nice to have a partner in Springfield who has the same concerns that we do. And Scott, he has a long military career, so I think that's helped him navigate working with the Corps of Engineers, understanding how they talk, how they work. I mean, those cultural understandings in a big bureaucracy like that do make a difference. And I think some of what we're seeing today is a result of Scott's expertise and understanding of that, and really having the patience and the appreciation of the Corps and what they're doing. So, like you said, this is a major accomplishment to have something in the water after we've been talking about this for decades. So it is, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but in the scheme of things, it's just a 12-foot sediment collector, but it's huge to actually have something in the water collecting data, potentially helping us solve this problem in the future. So thank you to everyone who's played a part in that.
Yeah, I think probably the camera was on you, Scott, but if it would have been on the commission, I think they would have saw all of our jaws hit the floor when you talked about, 1 to 2 tons of sand coming out per day.
Probably conservatively.
Wow, that's, if that doesn't give an illustration of how big this problem is and really another reason it needs to be addressed, that right there speaks volumes for sure. Any other commissioners have questions for Scott or anything else? I don't want to monopolize. All right, I don't see any microphones coming on, so they're going to be kind to you tonight. Maybe it's because you're a fellow city commissioner, mayor like the
because of
rest
that.
of us.
Ask the questions.
No, again, thank you for taking our thanks back to your board, and because we do really appreciate all the work you're doing, because it's not just benefiting one small group or entity, it's really impacting all of us, and I really appreciate you taking the lead and getting that done.
All right, again, thank you, and thank you for your support.
Yeah, thanks for coming tonight. We are still under public appearance, so I do not want to move on without offering up the chance for the public to address the commission on something not on the agenda tonight. All right, seeing no movement, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Number 1 is setting the date of April 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. here in the Commission chambers for our next work session of the Yankton City Commission, as shared earlier by City Manager Leon, looking at the Yankton County EMS study and Summit Center costs. So we'll look to go over that at the next work session. Number 2 is consideration of Memorandum 24-80, recommending approval of the application from the Yankton County 4-H Club, doing business as the Yankton County Fair for a special events dance for Friday, August 2nd, 2024, which will take place at 905 Whiting Drive. Number 3 is to establish April 22nd, 2024 as the date for a public hearing for a special on-sale malt beverage retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for one day, May 4th, 2024, from the center located at 900 Whiting Drive. Number 4 is to establish April 22nd, 2024 as the date for a public hearing for a special on-sale malt beverage retailer's license for one day, August 17th, 2024, from the Yankton Rodeo Association, Inc., located at 43371 310th Street, for an event to be held at the rodeo grounds located at 404 Paddle Wheel Drive. Number 5 is to establish April 22nd, 2024 as the date for a public hearing for a special on-sale liquor license for one day, May 4th, 2024, from RB Grill House and Sports Bar at 2901 Broadway Avenue for an event located at the NFAA at 800 Archery Lane. And number 6 is to establish April 22nd, 2024 as the date for a public hearing for a special on-sale malt beverage retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for one day, May 28th, 2024, from Mount Marty University, Fresh Ideas, located at 1105 West 8th Street. What is your pleasure on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Anybody abstaining? All right, consent agenda pass. Moving on to old business then, number 1 is consideration of memorandum 24-81 regarding a request for a special on-sale malt beverage retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for one day, September 14th, 2024, from the center located at 900 Whiting Drive. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 2 is consideration of memorandum 24-82 regarding a request for the transfer of ownership of a retail on-off-sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine license and a retail on-sale liquor license from the Upper Deck, Mark Hausman owner, to MG Oil, doing business as Upper Deck, Troy Erickson owner, located at 315 Broadway, Suites A and B. What is your pleasure? So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. And number 3 is consideration of memorandum 24-86 regarding a request for a special on-sale liquor license for one day, May 25th, 2024, from Boomers, Inc., doing business as Boomers Lounge at located at 100 East 3rd Street, for an event at the Meridian venue located at 101 East 3rd Street. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on in the agenda to new business. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 24-27, authorizing the city manager to sign and execute the 2024 FAA BIL-AIG grant application, which would also authorize the city manager to sign and execute the agreement for professional services with KLJ Engineering, LLC, for the terminal apron reconstruction design project at Chan Gurney Municipal Airport. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 2 under new business is consideration of memorandum 24-84, recommending that the city commission award the Gale Drive and sanitary trunk sewer contract to Siteworks, Inc. of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in the amount of $3,173,724.84, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents associated with the project as outlined in the memorandum. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye. Motion carries. Excited to see work continuing to progress out there and keep that moving. That's wonderful to see. Number 3 under new business is consideration of memorandum 24-88, recommending the consideration of resolution 24-21, and if approved, further authorize the city manager to execute all associated documents. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 4 is consideration of memorandum 24-89, recommending the approval of initiating the process of considering a rezoning of lots 1 through 4 and part of lot 5 and part of lots 16 through 18 lying west of the railroad tracks, all in block 49, located in the lower addition to the city of Yankton. Dave, a little bit about, maybe just quickly, why would we look to rezone this from industrial to business and what that means?
Sure. First of all, there's a couple different ways that rezonings begin, and one of them is, and the one you typically see is owner petitioned. This would be a city commission initiated rezoning, and the reason it's different is because it's a planned area of rezoning that's actually been planned all the way back from when our 2003 comprehensive development plan was written. So this relieves the owner from the requirement of circulating petitions throughout the neighborhood, and that's in a good way because it's trying to address the creation of a change in zone from that higher intensity industrial use in the area to more of a downtown business use, which was all part of the plan. What the commission at the time has decided, and every time incrementally through those 20 plus years, is that as owners are voluntarily willing to allow their property to be rezoned, that the commission would go ahead and initiate it, and then it would still go through the standard planning commission, city commission hearing processes, so everybody gets proper notification and has the ability to come and comment.
So help me remember, Dave, are we, is this kind of the last major chunk, or?
There's a couple of other
Downtown.
existing industrial occupancies down there that have fairly significant investments. So I think those will probably stay in industrial for the short term anyway. But those property owners have also been aware of this process. They've seen notifications on adjoining properties and hearing processes come through. So yeah, ideally everything south of 4th Street would end up that kind of flowery pinkish color that you see on the map in your packet as a part of that change to B3 Central Business, more of a mixed use housing and commercial area as opposed to the older heavy industrial areas.
Great, thanks for walking through that, Dave. Any other questions? If not, what is the pleasure of the commission?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second, and now that we do, are there any questions of the commission? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 5 is consideration of memorandum 24-87, recommending the approval of the purchase of a new grasshopper mower for $30,500 from Koletsky Implement of Yankton, South Dakota. What is your pleasure? So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 6 under new business is consideration of memorandum 24-85, recommending that the Board of Commissioners set May 13th, 2024 as the date for a public hearing for the special assessment roll. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 7, another good thing on our agenda, meaning summer is coming because people are going to want to sit outside, is consideration of memorandum 24-90 regarding a sidewalk cafe permit to 100 West 3rd Street, doing business as the Walnut Tavern. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. And number 8 under new business is consideration of memorandum 24-91, recommending the adoption of resolution 24-22 and authorize the disposal of surplus property by sealed bid. The items in that are listed in the commission packet. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Commissioner Hanoff, did you have? Oh, sorry, I always look for a microphone on, no problem. Anybody, no commission, anybody in the public? Roll call.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. That does conclude new business this evening. Next on the agenda is other business. There was no other business brought to me prior to the meeting, but do want to check any other business. Seeing no microphones come on, I would ask for a motion then to adjourn the meeting of April 8th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye. Aye. Pose nay. Anybody abstaining? All right, folks, we got you out of here with 1 minute to spare so you can get home and watch the national championship. And don't forget to vote tomorrow. Have a good evening.